Viewers, very warm welcome with the program Diplomatic Enclave. I am your host Malik Manzur from Channel 5. It's a great pleasure for me today that I am joined by His Excellency, the Ambassador of Hungary, His Excellency Istvan Szabo. A very warm welcome, Sir Excellency, that you spare your precious moment for our program.
Thank you very much. I would like to welcome the viewers of this TV program as well.
And viewer, as you know that Pakistan and Hungary established diplomatic relations on November 26, 1965. And we have a very excellent relation with Hungary. And we have seen that the Hungarian-based MOL Oil Company, Oil and Gas, has been operating in Pakistan since 17 years. And a very huge investment, $2 billion so far, invested by the MOL Company in Pakistan. And His Excellency is a very outstanding diplomat. He is here as the ambassador to Hungary and Pakistan from last 4 years. And during his tenure, he boosted the relation in many fields, economic and trade and many things. So Excellency, very warm welcome in my program. First of all, I would like to know that how do you feel as the ambassador in Pakistan, and what are your priorities actually to enhance the bilateral relation between the two countries?
So, as you mentioned, I have been here during the past 4 years, and this is my first posting in an Asian country. And frankly speaking, if I can put it in a personal way, I find this country extremely exciting, extremely important, due to its key location, central location in South Asia, and due to the volatile region and turbulences of the political developments in the region. So from the professional point of view, I really enjoy working here, since my major professional area has been security policy issues. And therefore, this country and this posting is for me a real challenge. The other thing, and also personal, I am here with my wife, who is also working at the embassy, and we are enjoying living here in Pakistan very much. Due to the very active and vivid social life and a lot of events happening in Islamabad, due to the beautiful areas of the country which we had the chance to visit, due to the friendship of the people, due to the value of the human resources here, we could make a lot of friends here. We are enjoying the life here. We are doing sports, tennis, golf, and we are enjoying the life. This is the personal part. Concerning the bilateral relations, of course, we have the priority areas. And since with Pakistan we have very friendly relations, practically there is no political issue between the two countries, we can concentrate and focus on the economic cooperation, on the culture and education, and improving the business relations on a mutually beneficial basis. And our bilateral relations are characterized by mutual respect and trust.
Excellency, can you elaborate your achievement as ambassador here? Specifically, how do you see the political and diplomatic relation between two countries? As we know that Hungary is a very important member of European Union, and your country always supported Pakistan, whereas the GSP Plus and some other many important issues. So how you explain it, the relation between two countries?
Last year we celebrated the 50th anniversary of our diplomatic relations, but if you permit me, I will go beyond that 50 years, because our relations go back to the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th century, when Hungarian archaeologists, orientalists, travelers, educational specialists visited this region. And they brought back the history, the culture, the religion of this region. They wrote their memoirs. One of them rediscovered the old Silk Route. So this region, South Asia, was very well known for the Hungarian public. We are very proud of these Orientalists who worked in universities in Lahore, in Peshawar, and who contributed to our common cultural values. We are working on different culture projects. Let me speak about it
It's a cultural
later.
diplomacy. Cultural diplomacy.
Yes, cultural diplomacy is extremely important because the language of culture is better understood
Yes.
by people that sometimes the language of politicians or some professionals. And culture does not need a visa, so culture can go
No
through
boundaries.
the borders.
Yes, no borders.
And if you bring Sufi music, for example, to Budapest,
yes.
you will realize, because I realized, I was at a Sufi concert in Budapest, I realized that the audience was amazed and it was a fantastic success. If we bring here a Hungarian folk and dance group, as we did it 2 years ago, it was also a great success. The Pakistani audience is fantastic. They really enjoyed the performance. That's why our embassy is planning every year an outstanding cultural event. Last year we brought here 3 Hungarian talented ladies who played on violin, an adaptation of classical music. And we had performances in Islamabad, in Karachi, in Faisalabad, and in Lahore as well. The 2 years back we had this folk dance group here and folk musicians. Also they made a tour in the country. And 3 years ago we organized a joint exhibition of young Hungarian and Pakistani artists in PNCA here in Islamabad. So we are putting great emphasis on cultural diplomacy. But besides that, we have to improve, we have to develop the official contacts between the two countries. So what we are now planning, and very soon hopefully we can sign the economic cooperation agreement with Pakistan, the defense MOU also in the pipeline with Pakistan, and the protection of investments agreement is also in the pipeline. Some work is needed, some more elaboration, but both countries are willing to put these agreements into place and implement them. And regular consultations are taking place between our
at
two
higher
foreign
level.
ministries.
Yes.
At higher level, just recently on the margins of the ASEM meeting in Ulaanbaatar, we had a meeting between our 2 foreign ministers.
Right.
Which was a brief meeting, but this year we also had a Minister of State for Economic Diplomacy visiting Pakistan, and he had...
End of this year?
It was in April.
Okay,
it was in April.
Okay.
In March we had the Chief Executive Officer of the Hungarian National Trading House, which is a government agency for improving Hungarian export activities. And then we also plan the visit of the Minister of Commerce from Pakistan to Hungary, hopefully very soon. And regular consultations are taking place between the 2 foreign ministries. So I'm happy with the present state of bilateral cooperation and relations. Nevertheless, I have to add that if there is a very high level political meeting, that is always very helpful, because that will give you ammunition for diplomats for future work.
Yes. You explained, Excellency, in very detail our bilateral relation in the field of economic trade and also in defense. As we know that trade relations are the backbone among the countries in today's age. So you are satisfied with the cooperation in the field of trade between the two countries?
I can't be satisfied. I have to tell you very frankly that the present volume of trade between the two countries, it's just close to $40 million, which is a very low figure. It could be much higher. But this trade turnover is fluctuating as the years are going on. In 2009, this figure was over $80 million. But due to the decisions of certain multinational companies, this figure is changing year by year. What we are focusing on now is to improve the network of implementing business relations, and that's why the Hungarian partner office of the Hungarian National Trading House will very soon be opened in Karachi.
Okay,
And
it's a good news.
This will be a Pakistani company, and this Pakistani company will represent the Hungarian economic interests in Karachi, which is the business hub of Pakistan. Besides that, we have the two honorary consuls. One unfortunately just passed away, but I hope that very soon the successor will be approved by the Pakistani authorities. We have the candidate, everything is in place. This is our honorary consul general in Lahore. Very soon he can start his operation officially. And we have another one in Karachi, and we are relying on the honorary consuls, and we are relying in the future.
But you are expanding your mission there.
We have to, and we don't need to forget that Pakistan is not only Islamabad and not only Punjab, but
Yes,
there
yes.
are other provinces. For example, KPK,
It's a big country, yes.
where our oil and gas company MOL is operating during the past 17 years, and practically MOL, as the biggest investor here, is the flagship of our bilateral relations.
I was about to ask the same question, that our viewer knows that this MOL, leading oil company of Hungarian, is operating in Pakistan since 17 years, and a very huge investment, $2 billion in Pakistan they have invested. My question is that how do you see the collaboration and cooperation between the two countries in the field of oil and gas, especially that we are facing energy crisis. So in this regard, your country is cooperating with Pakistan. How do you see the overall cooperation in this field?
Well, in Pakistan, no need to emphasize the importance of energy supply. There is a shortage of energy, as we all know, and there is the problem of load sheddings. So from this point of view, it is extremely important what the foreign oil companies are doing in this country. MOL has been operating in Pakistan during the past 17 years, and this is a very successful operation. And MOL is, I can tell you, MOL is planning ahead 20 years more because of the natural resources available here. The gas resources, the condensatum, and the oil
Huge resources are available.
Huge resources are available. The company has a long expertise. The company is more than 76 years old in Hungary. This is the largest Hungarian company with a lot of knowledge, engineering, technologies, expertise in the field of oil production and exploration. The company's main area is KPK, and they have different fields, but of course they want to expand their activities in the future. Cooperation with the Pakistani Ministry of Petroleum is excellent, and the regulator. And this is not just a single Hungarian company, but the MOL Pakistan is a group of 5 different oil and gas companies. So it's a consortium. And their total investment is $2 billion during 17 years. And if you see the figures, they cover the energy needs, 14% of the energy needs of Pakistan concerning gas. And they are the second largest oil producers, this group of companies. So they are contributing a lot to the energy needs of the country. And the company MOL is focusing very much on the corporate responsibility issue.
It is very important.
And it's extremely important. And it's very, very popular among the local people. First of all, MOL is providing working places, working opportunities. MOL is helping to build the infrastructure, improve the infrastructure, roads. MOL contributes to the improvement of education, building schools, or
bridges,
or
and many of
bridges.
Yes.
The Kushagar Bridge over the Indus River was partially financed by MOL company. And also donating computer labs to universities in Lahore, and I could list it, continue it, but this is the area where they are focusing on, and the training of Pakistani engineers in Hungary, and then bring them back, and they are working for the company.
So, sir, how do you see the investment climate in Pakistan? As this government announced many incentive package for the foreign investor to restore their confidence, and as your leading company is investing a huge money in Pakistan from last 17 years, how do you see the policies of this regime, especially to attract the investor to invest in Pakistan?
Well, as far as I see, the government is doing a lot to improve the investment and business climate for foreign companies. But the foreign companies are different. MOL is a huge one. MOL is the largest Hungarian company. For them, they have the experience of the past 17 years. They are well settled here. They are strong financially. But if you consider a small or medium-sized company coming here, they are more cautious, and risks are there because the investment climate they don't really consider everything so favorable. And I'm not talking about the security issues, because some people would simplify it only security issues to security issues here in Pakistan. But the business climate from the point of view of a company, it is extremely important that they can see that the whole process of transactions and step by step how they can build up their activities here. They have to see the regulations very clearly, the taxation system, the customs system. And in this regard, the situation is the picture is not black and white, but colorful.
Yes, colorful. So, how you elaborate the cooperation in the field of defense, as you just mentioned, that defense agreement or cooperation is in pipeline, and both sides, our military, are in touch. But you are satisfied with the cooperation between the two countries in the field of defense?
If you compare the two countries, Hungary is a country of 10 million people, Pakistan is a country of 200 million people. Pakistan's army is the 5th or 6th largest army in the world, extremely well trained, extremely professional. And in Hungary, after the political transition in Central Eastern Europe, after the collapse of the communist system, everything has changed and the whole industry was privatized, including the defense industry. So we have a very, very limited defense industry. And I think we are at the beginning of a kind of a cooperation. The defense MOU will help, will give the framework, provide a framework for it. What has been going on between the two countries is mainly the training area. We are receiving Pakistani army officers for training, and the Pakistani army also receives Hungarian officers for training. So for the time being, this is the main area of cooperation.
Well, it's extremely important in training point of view that both countries are exchanging their experience in this field.
That's right, and they are exchanging the information, and they get to know each other's, and Hungary is a member of NATO as well. So the interoperability of our army is very important, but it's a small army. It's a small army.
Viewers, here we take a short commercial break and we will resume our discussion. Thank you. Welcome back, viewers. Excellency, as you know that Pakistan is the most affected country in the world by terrorism and extremism. And you have seen the counter-terrorism initiative taken by government of Pakistan and ongoing Zarb-e-Azab operation against the militants. How do you see the law and order situation in Pakistan, especially after the successful launching of this Zarb-e-Azam operation by our armed forces?
Very frankly, I witnessed an improvement in the security situation due to Zarb-e-Azam, and this started in December 2014 when the attack against the Peshawar Army public school took place, and this was the most terrible terrorist attack in the history of the country as far as I know. The army deserves the respect and appreciation for what they are doing for the country and to eliminate terrorism in the territory of the country. And I just can tell you that the ordinary citizen can experience an improvement in the security situation, but still there is a lot to do, unfortunately. And this process should continue. It's an ongoing process, and it's a complex one. It's not only, it can't be solved by military means only. And military commanders told me this when I visited the Peshawar Corps. And this complex duty is a united civilian military effort is required. You have to improve the living conditions, you have to improve the education, you have to improve the infrastructure, and the rule of law can be implemented in all areas if everything complexly developed and improved.
And sir, as a very senior diplomat, how do you see the Pakistan role in this region for durable peace and stability?
The region is, as I told you, for a diplomat it's an exciting and challenging work here. The region is always changing. The political dynamics are always moving here. As we know, the basic issue is the relationship between India and Pakistan. Yes. This is the basic issue. And if you consider some other problematic fields, everything is rooted in this relationship. So I think only a strong political will on all actors here in this region for peace, stability can improve the situation. If this will exists on one side and doesn't exist on the other side, or not equally strong, then the situation will remain difficult. This requires a lot of work, a lot of time, and a lot of commitment on the side of the politicians and the leaders of the different countries in the region.
And Sir Excellency, what are your views on the Pak-China Economic Corridor project between Pakistan and China? How do you see this project?
I am very glad. I was very glad when I first heard about this huge project, because this is a great contribution, not only to the economic improvement of Pakistan and not only serving the Chinese and Pakistani interests, but it has a significance from the regional connectivity point of view. And if the other countries in the region would like to benefit from this huge investment, the connectivity will help the movement of goods, will help the improvement of economies, and will help in the people-to-people contacts.
And so now let's talk about the cooperation in the field of higher education. As we know that your country has taken a very good initiative for giving the higher education scholarship to Pakistani students. Can you elaborate it in detail that how you are expanding this scholarship program between the two countries?
Yes, Hungarian government is offering scholarships within its policy of the so-called Southern Opening, Eastern Opening, not only for Pakistan, but countries of Asia, countries of Latin America, countries of Sub-Saharan Africa, countries of the Middle East. And the government realized, and this is not the first time that we are doing it, that scholarship is the best long-term investment. That's why a decision concerning Pakistan was made about 80 scholarship in higher educational institutions free of charge, which means that Pakistani students receive full accommodation and some pocket money in Hungary, and they are studying in different Hungarian universities, and they can study in English language in Hungarian institutions. And the first batch of students started their studies in September, and during the springtime, when we were doing the selection together with the Higher Education Commission, the chairman of the Higher Education Commission paid a visit to Hungary, and he visited some Hungarian universities, and he got on-the-spot experiences about the Hungarian higher education system. Pakistan also offered 10 scholarships for Hungary, and I am very glad to report you that the first Hungarian student already arrived here in Islamabad, and very soon will start his studies in the field of Urdu language learning and Islamic religious ideology and this area. But we are planning to send some students in the field of archaeology, because you have tremendous values and many thousands years old Mohenjo-daro, for example.
Yes, old civilization.
Old civilization, the Indus Valley civilization. So there is an interest on the Hungarian side also. So it's a program which is working on both sides.
This is very good. Sir, can you elaborate it that you are celebrating the 60th revolution anniversary very soon? So can you explain it in detail about this anniversary?
It's very important for us, because we are celebrating the 60th anniversary of the 1956 revolution and freedom fight in Hungary. In 1956, at the end of October, it was a spontaneous revolt against the Soviet-imposed communist regime in Hungary. People were suffering a lot for many years before that, and they wanted free elections, they wanted the freedom of the media, and they demanded the withdrawal of the Russian Soviet troops from Hungarian territory. Although the revolution lasted only for 2 weeks, it has shaken the whole communist system, and this was the first great revolt, open revolt and armed revolt against the Russians. They crushed the revolution on the 4th of November. They imprisoned a lot of people, they killed a lot of people, and Hungarians, 200,000 Hungarians had to take refuge in foreign countries. But the communist system was never the same again after this event as before. And in connection with 1956, I would like to highlight the positive role Pakistan played when the issue was on the UN agenda, and there was a debate in the United Nations for 7 years after 1956. This was the so-called Hungarian issue, where Pakistan strongly condemned the Soviet military intervention. And at that time, at the Pakistani UN mission, there was a deputy whose name was Aga Shahi, who later became a foreign minister of this country. And he was a very, very strong advocate of the Hungarian issue. And with a group of other countries, Pakistan consistently condemned the Soviet intervention and demanded an international investigation and demanded troop withdrawal, Soviet troop withdrawal from Hungary. We shall never forget this, and we would like to pay tribute to Aga Shahi.
Yes, he's a very leading former foreign minister. Sir, can you explain your program, resident bond program, some incentive you have announced for the Pakistani investor in your country?
The residence bond program is practically about attracting foreign investors into the country, offering them the free permission to stay in Hungary, and later on it can become a citizenship after the program. The program is about if in Pakistan the embassy is not directly involved, but there is an agency which is dealing with this program. The agency is in Karachi. It is the Lalani agency, and they are arranging the whole process of selection and advertising the program. So if a Pakistani investor decides to pay 360,000 euros, he is eligible to stay in Hungary for 5 years.
Okay.
And from the 360,000, at the end of the term, 300,000 will be refunded. And the program is going on with other countries, more people, but in Pakistan it's getting more and more popular as well. Other European countries are also
But you are satisfied with this program?
We are satisfied with this program, yes. Yes, we are satisfied with this program.
And sir, another question that it was my mind that this migrant crisis issue has become a global issue.
Yeah.
And as we know that your country is also one of the affected countries, this migrant issue. So as a European Union member, what are your proposals to address this very crucial matter?
That's the most crucial issue for whole Europe today. And Hungary is very strongly represents its position that we have to defend our sovereignty, we have to protect our territory, and we are quite critical concerning the European Union because the European Union is lacking a joint platform, and there is no consensus among the European countries concerning this migration issue. That was the reason why the Hungarian government had to decide, there was no other choice, that we have to protect our borders. Because in 2015, when the borders were open practically, we witnessed a huge mass migration wave, approximately close to 500,000 people, who just went through the Hungary without any registration, without any control. And I don't think that any country can afford the luxury to allow people walking in and out without any control and registration. And on the other hand, don't forget that there are differences among the European countries. Some countries like France, like Germany, they have been living with migrants for decades because due to the history, due to for example, in case of the former colonial powers, many citizens, many migrants from the former colonies went to Great Britain, for example. You have a large Pakistani community in Great Britain. So these countries are more accustomed to living together with migrants. In Hungary, we are just the 10 million Hungarians, and our population is not get accustomed to it. This is the number one issue. The other is that the principal question that the problem of the migrants should be solved in the place where they are coming from, and the problems should not be exported to Europe. So but that's a long story. We could talk about it maybe later on.
Exactly. So my another question, Excellency, that how do you see the relation between Pakistan and European Union? Because your country is also a very important member of European Union. So do you satisfy the ongoing cooperation with EU?
Pakistan and the European Union cooperation is very important for both parties, and I think this is the basis, that it should be important for both parties. There is an achievement, there are results if it is important for both parties. Europe is also interested in the Pakistani exports could enter the European market without barriers. That's why the GSP Plus program is functioning quite well. On the other hand, European Union is interested in offering and helping Pakistan in different projects. And I think it's a very beneficial cooperation for decades between the two entities, and there are regular consultations, regular meetings, and this is a very complex issue. Which consists of the economic and business cooperation, but also consists of the human rights issues. There are, of course, differences, and there is no agreement on every issue. For example, the death penalty issue, you know, European Union is strongly opposing it. Pakistan lifted the moratorium on death penalty after this terrible terrorist incident in Peshawar. And there are other issues, but in the field of education, in the field of energy, in healthcare, there is a very, very efficient cooperation going on between EU and Pakistan, and Hungary is part of this cooperation.
Sir, in your initial remarks, you touched upon very important cultural diplomacy. So, what are your views about the Pakistani people and its culture, specifically that you are going to promote the cultural ties between the two countries? And we have seen that you invited your artists to perform here in Pakistan. And a large number of Pakistani people have seen that all and enjoy very much. So, how do you see the future cooperation in the field of cultural?
I think this is the area where we have unlimited potentials in this area, in the cultural cooperation. And let me take this opportunity just to mention you one concrete issue that we are very proud of. Rock musical group, which is a joint Hungarian-Pakistani rock musical group. Two colleagues of this embassy are playing in this group, and Pakistani musicians also. And they performed many concerts here in Islamabad, and they are gaining more and more support and popularity. Their name is Wild Mangoes. And just recently they played in the diplomatic enclave, but they had a very successful concert in PNCA. So these Wild Mangoes is just one example. But talking about some other issues, we are also very glad that we have some common cultural values with Pakistan. For example, we have a beautiful collection of paintings in the Lahore fort. This is called the Princess Bamba collection, painted by August Schöft, who was of a Hungarian origin, a painter who was traveling in the first half of the 19th century. He was in the Lahore court of Rajit Singh, and his paintings are fantastic about the life of the court, the landscapes, and the portraits of the Maharaja and the Maharaja's family. And what we are planning to do is, with the Pakistani authorities together, that we take the paintings to Hungary for restoration, then organize a complex exhibition, not only just the paintings, but about that age, and then bring back the exhibition to Pakistan. So this is the largest project we are working on now, and I think we are very proud of this cultural heritage, which is a common heritage between Hungary and Pakistan. But besides that, we are continuing to organize the cultural programs. At the end of the year, a young Hungarian pianist is coming, and he will perform some concerts in December in Islamabad, in Karachi, and in Lahore. And I hope that this young talent, who is just a 13-year-old boy, will attract a lot of Pakistani citizens, and will gain popularity here in Pakistan.
Excellency, the last concluding remarks, to sum up, that overall any message that you want to give to the Pakistani peoples and the relation between the two countries, any your message you want to give?
Well, the main message, which is I think the most important for Pakistani people, and we consider it in Hungary also very important, is the improvement of education. I think this is the basic issue. Improvement of education for all, for men, for women, because without education there is no development. And in this regard, I think the greatest achievement in our bilateral relation is the scholarship program, that we could start this scholarship program. And I hope that after 10, 15, 20 years, these young Pakistanis who visited Hungary and
they will be
come back, They will be our friends, close friends, and they will help our country, and they will help in the relations of the two countries a lot.
Sir, thank you very much for being with us, that we have very fruitful and meaningful discussion about the bilateralism between the two countries, and you explain in very excellent manner that how you are going to promote the relation between the two countries in the field of economic, trade, political, diplomatic and defense and education and art and culture. So thank you very much for being with us. This is the end of the program, viewers. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.